Good morning and welcome to Money Talks, the place where money meets politics. I'm your host today, Glenn Wiggle, in studio with Mike Lomas, and we are the financial guys. Usually each and every week you can hear us on WBEN 1 to 3 o'clock on Saturdays, and we're going to be talking about some of the things that we talked about this past Saturday right here on today's show. Don't forget to tune in every week from 11:30 to 12, and if you need us throughout the week, folks, we do manage money for a living, so feel free to call us at the office at 633-1515. That's 633-1515. Let's jump right into it, Mike. We on Saturday.
I noticed my tie is off.
Is it? No, I thought it was good. You all right?
Well, you said it was okay.
It was okay. Glass half full. I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
You didn't say it was great. You said okay.
I don't even bother with it.
But now that I look, it's off a little bit. But that's all
not
right.
bad.
You know, I can't trust myself, so.
Yeah, good enough.
Everybody that knows me on a personal level knows that my wife. I leave the house in the morning, and my wife will say, "Are you wearing that?" I say, "Oh, no. I was just." I was just testing it out. It's 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Just testing you to make sure that you didn't let me out of the house with this
this suit? No, I wasn't going to wear that one.
Well, anyway, Saturday we had Congressman Chris Collins on the radio show, and quite a interesting interview. I'll say that. We kind of ran all over the place, talked about Obamacare, we talked about tax cuts.
Yeah.
A couple things from the show just to talk about here. Number one, new poll that came out this past week, Axios poll, showing Republicans are losing patience with Congress, right? So we keep hearing about President Trump's poll numbers, and his numbers are down as well amongst Republicans, but he's only down 6 points, down 81 to 75. Congress is down 14 points.
Yeah, they should.
Over that same
Totally useless. Totally useless. I mean, look, hats off to Chris Collins, came on a radio show. I give him all the credit in the world for having the stones to come on our show. But I thought I was talking to Barney Frank after we were talking about tax policy, and he said, "Wow, you guys make enough money." Like, what? Like, you don't need a tax cut. What do you mean? Like, what party are you with?
Right.
Well, tax cuts, by the way, and the priority of how to grow this economy, it's got to be top 2 or 3. Absolutely. I mean, if not number one, give people back their own money. And it's amazing to me, enough of these Republicans don't really understand how the tax code works. It's like, well, yeah, the rates are this and this and this. Yeah, but every time you hire somebody, there's 25% more garbage attached to us hiring them. So, it's not as simple as saying, well, it's 35% bracket, it's a 25% bracket. Yeah, and then on top of that, you've got self-employment tax, state taxes, blah, 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 blah. You're a successul wage earner in this state, you lose half your money. That's crap. That's garbage.
Well, the frustrating part to me was that, they were talking about, kind of tweaking things around the edges, right? So talking about bringing the top rate from 39.6 back down to 35. We were at 35 before Boehner gave it away, right? Going to a 25 and then maybe a 12.5, so the 3 overall rates. Yeah. But here's the problem, is that if you're going to go to get something done, go big, right? So go, as Trump said, have this huge, massive tax cut, and then when the Democrats chew away at it, maybe you meet somewhere that's not as aggressive, but still a great tax cut. If you're starting with not so aggressive, and here's what he said. We asked the question, the response was, well, we need to get Democrats on board.
Why?
With passing the tax cuts. And Chuck Schumer has already agreed that he's going to vote for it.
Schumer.
I thought, God, Chuck Schumer is not your friend.
The Republicans are waiting for Chuck Schumer
Chuck Schumer's not your
to get stuff done.
Yeah, not your friend.
Pigs are going to fly first.
That's right.
Pigs are going to fly first.
So
if he gives a tax cut, it's going to be attached with so much garbage that by the end of it, it'll be regulation after regulation. It won't be a tax. It'll be a fee, right?
Well, the frustrating part is if you're banking on the Democrats to get anything through Congress, then I guess we can kiss tax cuts goodbye.
Yeah.
Because I just don't see that happening.
No,
I don't see the Democrats supporting anything that the Republicans put forth.
No.
And for the Republicans,
why would they? They don't lose.
Well, they don't lose.
If you're a Democrat, you don't lose. Look at what Obama's been able to accomplish over 8 years, right? I mean, by the way, the worst recovery ever out of a recession, right? It was a total joke, the recovery. 16% economic growth over 8 years. We should have had 60% economic growth. But he accomplished everything he wanted to do.
That's right.
Massive regulations, higher taxes, 50 million people on food stamps. For these losers, that's a win.
Think about this.
50 million people on food stamps, that's a win for those folks.
They passed Obamacare with a minority in the Senate.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
We elected Scott Brown to basically block the Obamacare bill, and they still found a way to get it done.
That's right.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about that when we come back here. Folks, if you need us throughout the weeks, we have a team of investment professionals that we've assembled in our office, from estate planning to college planning to retirement planning. We have a new health insurance department if you need help with your Medicare planning. We also have a 401k department if you're a small business owner as well. So you can feel free to use this as a resource. Call us at the office, 633-1515. That's 633-1515. All right, very short break. We'll be right back, and Money Talks will continue. Welcome back to Money Talks here on Channel 2 WGRZ. Again, I'm your host, Glenn Wiggle, here with Mike Lomas, and we're the financial guys. You can hear us each and every week right here on Money Talks, as well as every Saturday on WBEN. And you can also follow us on Twitter at FinGuys, as well as follow us on Facebook at Facebook/TheFinancialGuys. You can also use our website at www.thefinancialguys.com. If you want to send us a question via the website, you can feel free to do that as well, or also feel free to call us at the office at 633-1515. Mike, before the break, we're just talking about the Republicans banking on the Democrats, basically, for their tax cuts or the new tax cut bill. You know, my thought on Saturday is, why not go big, right? Go huge. Go 10, 20, 30. Go 10, 15, 20 as far as free brackets.
I don't even know what party this is.
They went from 15 to 12 and a half.
Right.
They're going from 28 down to 25. They're going from 39 down to.
Yeah. But taking away our write-offs. They're taking away our write-offs.
The property tax write-offs.
Yeah.
And things like that.
I mean, my taxes are going to go up under these clowns.
Oh, everyone in a liberal state. Everyone in a liberal state that's got high property taxes or high expenses will actually see their out-of-pocket go up, which is not to help the economy. One of the big things that the Republicans are talking about as well, but we're going to cut corporate tax rates from 35 down to 15 or 20.
Which is great.
And that's great. But I got to be honest, what drives the U.S. economy is not corporate tax breaks.
Right.
It's the consumer.
Right, that's right.
Study after study after study shows that this is the consumer-driven economy. The consumer makes up over 50% of our overall economic growth and activity in this country. And so to not target the tax cuts and put the consumer and the individual taxpayer first, to me, is a huge mistake. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to matter. If they're banking on Democrats to pass it, you can forget that. That's never going to happen.
They lost Obamacare, a miserable failure, right? They got beaten badly, and which should have been a no-brainer to me, right? I mean, they repealed it, or they tried to repeal it something like 68 times when they knew they had no shot when Obama was in office. Right. Now that they have now that they should have a shot and it should get done, they can't do it, right? And the people like John McCain who are voting down. McCain, look at the videos, by the way, Google him. Time and time again, when he was raising cash to run for office, it was tax cuts, we're going to repeal Obamacare. I'm going to do whatever it takes to repeal Obamacare, right? And these clowns will get right back into office. They should all be primaried. The midterms, by the way, if these Republicans don't get their act together, they're going to get beaten badly, which they deserve to be beaten badly. And hopefully, the better answer is they're primaried by conservative thinking people that are actually going to get something accomplished.
Like, I think the sad thing is, it seems as if the Republican Party has given up on conservative principles.
Yeah, they have.
So the conservative principles of free market solutions, lower tax rates, smaller government, putting money back in.
And my big government's better than your big government.
It's all been forgotten, right? It seems as if they just don't care anymore. Now it's like breaks
my heart.
Light is what it seems like.
Yeah.
And look, here's the results. Okay, we have Democrat policies of tax and spend coming out of the last recession. We had the worst economic recovery from recession since the Great Depression, if not the worst ever. We have the first president and the first 10-year period in our U.S. history where we didn't break 3% in GDP.
Do you know how hard that is? Do you know how hard that is to do?
Coming out of the recession?
Coming out of a recession.
Very difficult.
The damage that recession that we saw, that should have been a no-brainer. I mean, you're talking about 5, 6, 7% economic growth by just not even showing up, right? If Obama just stayed out of the way, didn't do the 95,000 pages of regulations every year, left the tax code the same, and by the way, got rid of his stupid attitude of you didn't build this and said you did build it, go back to work, we would have exploded. The Dow would be at 40,000 right now. We'd be in a massive bull market. Instead, he did just the opposite and put the wettest blanket possible on top of on top of economic growth.
And I think the results speak for themselves.
No doubt.
So again,
no doubt.
Didn't break 3%.
And these people who have no clue about studying history and economics and tell us, well, look at under Obama things recovered. No, they didn't. Not even close to the potential of what they've done.
All right, we got to take another very short break here, folks. Again, if you need us throughout the week, again, feel free to use us as a resource. 633-1515, 633-1515. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at FinGuys. A lot of the articles that we talk about, whether it be on the radio show or the TV show here, we post to our Facebook and our Twitter page beforehand. So follow us there as well. We'll be right back here. We got to take a very short break. We've got more to come here on Money Talks. Welcome back to Money Talks here on WGRZ. Again, I'm your host, Glenn Wiggle, here with Mike Lomas, and we are the Financial Guys. You can hear us every Saturday from 1 to 3 on WBEN, as well as watch us here from 11:30 to 12 every Tuesday on WGRZ. We've been talking for the show thus far about some of the Obamonomics, about some of the things that the Republicans want to do in Congress, like passing tax cuts. Unfortunately, I think banking on the Democrats is not the way to go. I want to talk and kind of shift gears a little bit here and talk about really the 5 keys that we feel are needed to have a continuing growth in the stock market and a continuing robust economy. And I think that one of the number one things, Mike, that you've been talking about is safety.
No doubt.
And I think safety, when you talk about safety, we think about, and we have been talking about, the border security, immigration, things like that. But safety now seems like it's taken a little bit of a different twist with this Antifa stuff going on. And what happened again this past weekend is really just a
protesters taking everything they're offended by, they're taking down. And, we've been saying forever, look, we need to support the police officers, people have the right to protest, but you don't have the right to start ripping down private property.
Or beating people up. What happened yesterday in Berkeley, again, was you had a free speech rally, which was attended, and in San Francisco, which was not only attended by white people, which were not white supremacists or Nazis. It was attended by black people. It was attended by Hispanics. I saw a big diverse group of people. Unfortunately, that big diverse group was getting beaten up by people in black masks carrying sticks and signs. And the sad thing is, I didn't see a lot of police in Berkeley to start. Eventually, they got involved, but where are they? Where are they? Get ahead of it, right? I mean, you talk about.
And it's not, by the way, it's not the police officers' fault. They're being told.
No, they have to follow orders.
You're not allowed to show up.
Yeah, they don't get to make those decisions.
You're not allowed to do this. And the police officers got to be going, look, send us in there. Send me in there. Let us fix this thing. And by the way, you start destroying private property, you're going to spend time in jail. A lot of time in jail. Not the night and a $50 bailout fee. How about a week? How about a month? How about 2 months? And how about the statue that you just smashed? You're going to pay for it.
So when you talk about burning businesses, throwing bricks through windows, you take businesses out of production, right? I mean, if you own a business on a main strip and you show up the next day after these riots and your window's broken and your place is burned down, well, guess what? Your employees aren't coming to work. You're not paying you're not making money that you're going to pay taxes on. And sadly, it has a pretty big economic impact. But more importantly, what happens is people stop going out and doing trade, right?
That's
when people are fearful to show up in the town hall because they're worried about somebody in a black mask carrying an Antifa sign beating them up. This is a huge problem, and we need to get our arm around this right now, or it is going to have an economic impact.
Safety is probably, we talk about tax policy here, we'll talk about regulations. If you don't have a safe place to go to work, economic activity ceases to exist. And Western New York, by the way, is a perfect example of that. Why is there no restaurants on the east side of Buffalo? Is it because the real estate is just too expensive, right? Are the folks that are in the restaurant business going, boy, I'd really love to open up on the east side of Buffalo, but I don't know if I can afford the rent there.
You can't find any place available.
It's because it's not safe, right? And you look at terrorist hotbeds around the world, right? Why is there not a lot of economic activity there? Is everybody lazy? No. That's because who wants to open up a coffee shop and have somebody walk in and blow it up, right? We wouldn't want to take that type of risk. Think about this, right? You look at the town of Amherst. Amherst has been rated one of the safest places to do business in this country. Guess where all the businesses are? Amherst. I don't know.
Go figure.
I think I could bring my 9-year-old daughter in here and she could figure out that safety is pretty important.
But guess where our office is? Amherst.
Think about our office is. Think about that. Our office is in Amherst. If we had a helicopter, we don't. But if we had a helicopter and we took that helicopter 3 miles over to the east side, 4 miles over to the east side, it's more attractive for us to pay. I don't want to say huge rent, but big dollars in rent every month than it is to get free office space 5 miles up the road because of safety.
All right, we got to take a very short break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about that as well as some of the other keys to stock market growth and economic growth as well. We'll be right back here on Money Talks. All right, welcome back to Money Talks. Again, I'm your host, Glenn Wiggle, here with Mike Lomas. And again, we are the Financial Guys. You can see us here every week from 11:30 to 12 and listen to us on WBEN from 1 to 3 every Saturday afternoon. We are talking about some of the keys to investing. There's kind of 5 keys that we look at when it comes to stock market growth and economic activity. We're just talking about the safety component of those 5 keys, because safety is huge. If you're not safe going to the store, going to the mall, in your community, business doesn't get done, trade doesn't happen, and taxes don't get paid, right? So it just shuts down all, or at least puts a wet blanket over all types of economic activity. But there's other keys as well that we've been talking about.
Absolutely.
You specifically in a lot of the client meetings that you run, you know, as far as things like taxes and things like that.
Yep.
It doesn't seem as if taxes are going to go anywhere. I can't imagine that
I would
the
be
Republicans,
shocked.
again, are banking, according to Chris Collins, and Congressman Collins, a great guy, he's been a friend of the show and a friend of ours.
Give him a lot of credit. He's not afraid to get in and tell his opinion, which, by the way, or the rest of the folks in this town,
won't do it.
No, they won't. Brian Higgins, you know, the only time he shows up is if there's a ribbon cutting ceremony. By the way, Buffalo lost 900 jobs last year. I don't know where Brian was for that.
Right.
You know, he wasn't there for any of that. It was all about, hey, look at the park. Everything's great down on the waterfront. It's not great, Brian. My friends that live in Carolina, they're not coming back. My friends that live in Texas, even with the hurricane, guess what? They're not coming back.
No.
900 jobs lost in this town last year.
And that's as good
those
as it
clowns can only show up when one thing happens that might be a positive, and half the time it doesn't, right? They'll be down there at the Solar City plant that will be closing up in 5 years and asking for another $500 million to clean the mess up, but they won't be anywhere when the real numbers come out, which is we lost 900 jobs last year.
And the scary thing is this is a roaring, as far as roaring goes. I mean, I wouldn't call this roaring.
This is as good as it gets.
2.5% economic activity is not roaring.
But your point is the rest of the country's growing, right? And we're not.
That's right.
And we're not. We're shrinking.
And these are the good times.
These are the good
times.
times.
When we have the bad times, that can be ugly.
Well, wait till the bad times, because Poland Cars has already gone through a bunch of the reserve. Wait till that's when the taxes go back up. Those are the good times.
So the Republicans are banking on the Democrats to get tax policy done, so you can take that off the table.
Yeah.
What are the other couple of keys in the last couple minutes we have left here that you look at?
I've been writing down safety, which we talked about, regulations, right? And I
think is going in the right direction.
I do too. I give Trump an A+ for that. You know, easy come, easy go. Our founding fathers are way smarter than I gave them credit for. And as aggravated as we were that Obama was able to just, you know, use his executive authority to regulate, Donald Trump is doing a great job on the opposite. Trade is a big deal too, and that's a concern that we had. Not that we didn't disagree with Donald Trump, because I do think we're losing the battle on trade deals. Yeah. But trade deals can be a lot like a marriage in that you got to negotiate stuff, right? Sometimes, a lot of times, I'm like, I think I'm right, but I'm still going to say yes, honey, because there's bigger battles to be won. I will say though, I think he's winning so far. I think he's doing a great job, and I think, you know, that's a big deal. Debt. We haven't been talking about debt. $20 trillion in debt, and that goes back to tax policy. We have to lower the taxes to get this economy growing at 3 or 4% again. Right. I'll give you an example. We had a client who owned some property, refuses to sell the property and wants to. Hundreds of homes across the country, refuses to sell the property because of tax rates. Right. Government gets zero. The government gets zero. So all you liberals that say, well, we can't lower it, but you're getting zero. You're getting zero. Right. 15% of a big number is a lot better than zero of 20% or 30%.
And again, I don't understand why, again, the Republicans can't go back and do a better job of talking about what's worked in the past. I mean, we can go back and look at the evidence. Clinton cut taxes, based on pressure from Congress, capital gains from 28 to 20. And guess what? Record amounts of money came to the Treasury. President Bush cut tax rates again, and capital gains rates from 20 down to 15.
Right.
Guess what happened again? Same thing. Record amounts of tax rates, record amounts of revenue came out of the government. So the Republicans, again, I feel like they've abandoned the conservative principles. We have actual empirical evidence going back that shows here's the cause and here's the effect. Well, here's the result of the policies that would put in place, both positive and negative. And yet it's as if the world started yesterday and the Republicans weren't allowed to have history books to go back and use some of these examples. They're doing a really lousy job, in my opinion, of putting that case forward, and need to do a much better job of it.
Well, it's funny, Glenn, they do a great job when they want my money every 2 years to run.
Right.
They just they always seem to find their conservative base the second they need money, but the minute they're in office, they're like, well, now we need the Democrats to work with to get things done. Like, well, that's not what you told me when you were in my office a few months ago looking for cash.
Mike, it feels like the Republicans are showing up to play pinochle, and the Democrats are showing up with pipes and baseball bats. that's time of negotiation.
Sometimes literally.
Anyway, that's going to do it for today's show, folks. If you need us throughout the week, again, use us as a resource, 633-1515. That's 633-1515. We have a fantastic team of investment professionals in the office, from college planning to estate planning to Medicare planning, if you need help with Medicare planning as well, retirement planning, and so much more. Again, 633-1515. We'll see you next week here on Money Talks on WGRZ.